Some of the most important information
Hey
we see on the
guys,
road is in the form of traffic signals. Traffic signals control
today
the
I will
flow
be
of traffic at
reviewing
intersections.
Mario Kart World's
Throughout the United States, you may
new
turn right at a
instruction
red traffic
manual
signal
that was
after you have
added
come
in
to
a
a complete
patch
stop, unless prohibited by a sign or signal. As you turn
today
right on red,
at 6
watch out
a.m.
for pedestrians
Eastern
and cross
Time.
traffic from the left. You must yield the
This
right-of-way
is a
to
USA
pedestrians. If a
exclusive.
traffic signal turns yellow while you're approaching
Unfortunately,
an
they don't have
intersection,
any other
stop
language
before entering the intersection if you can do so
options
safely
other than
without
English.
causing a rear-end collision. If you are already in the intersection when the
My
signal
native
turns yellow,
language is
continue through the
actually
intersection, but it's not safe to
Hindi,
accelerate to get
so
through an intersection before the signal turns from yellow to
it's
red.
kind of
Other
disappointing that they
traffic
don't
may not see
offer
you
this
in
and
time to
that
avoid a
language,
collision. But what about flashing signal lights?
you know
A
what, you
flashing
don't
yellow
always
light
get what
means
you
that you
want.
need to slow down and proceed through the intersection with caution. Keep in mind that cross traffic may not
Now,
stop even though they are
I will
supposed
say
to.
that
Always treat a flashing red light as a stop sign. Stop at the intersection and wait until there
this
is
is
an
a very
adequate break in
informative
traffic
manual,
before entering the
and
intersection. If the light is
it
flashing
does
red in all
last
directions, treat it as an
4
always
hours.
stop sign. If 2 or more drivers arrive simultaneously at an
So
all-way stop sign, you must yield the right-of-way to the
basically,
driver to your right. If possible, establish eye contact with the other driver to communicate your intentions. If the intersection has no signs or
I'm
the
gonna
traffic
watch the
control
whole thing
signal is
just to
not
make sure that
working,
it works
treat it
out.
as an all-way stop. Some traffic signals tell you when you...
Uh-oh. Okay, the timer is still going, so technically I'm still watching the Mario Kart World thing. Now I have to riff for an additional 6 minutes. Let me do a recap of what we already had so far. So basically, I'm in section 2, part 8, and so that does mean that we covered a lot of ground before this. But basically, the story is that Peach from Mario Kart World got into a fatal collision with Wario. And they add a story to this to make it interesting. So there's 3 characters. There's Wario, Peach, and Luigi. And basically what happened is Luigi was trying to cut off Peach, and Peach got a little bit of road rage and ran directly into Mario, as well as ran over the new cow character that you can drive as, and as well as Cheep Cheep and the bug beetle guy. So that happened, and as a result, Peach has to complete a defensive driving course, and that's just kind of the set. Wait, why did the timer stop going down? Hello? Oh, okay, it works. Okay, so basically, Peach is required to complete defensive driving, and that is that's kind of like the story behind the manual. Of course, as a responsible driver myself, I've never encountered a similar situation, but it is always important to review the road regulations, kind of learn the rules of the road. Wait, why is this like this? Why did that happen? Okay, anyway, it's always important to review the rules of the road, because you never really know when you're going to be in a situation, a dangerous situation. Is it done yet? I can't wait till we get back to the video part, because that's the most important part, is not the timer so much, but more so the video we get to see all sorts of new Mario characters. I do know that they added a lot of new characters in this version. It's kind of sort of like a revolutionary thing, like Mario 2. You guys remember Mario 2, where they added a lot of characters such as Shy Guy and Wart, who unfortunately never returned. But this is sort of a similar thing. I do think Wart makes a reappearance in this, although that's only a rumor that I've heard. I've never actually seen him appear yet, but he will be coming back. Now, another important thing as far as the lore goes on this is that there was an anger management course, a quick video by AAA, which I'm surprised that Nintendo got the rights to AAA. Normally that's not kind of included, although one time I did see an Instagram post by the GPS, or GMV, or whatever you want to call it. I don't know which one it is, I'm not going to lie. As an American, I had access to an Instagram post it was like a reel, and there was there's like an AI Mario, and he's like eating he eats a star. It's not even a mushroom. He eats the star and gobbles it up and makes this really weird, like, distorted face. And then the caption was, it was like by the DMV, the caption was like, make sure you get your license today so you can be super. If you get your license, you're a superstar. So they have had that. Nintendo has authorized that sort of AI integration, and the vehicle Department of Public Safety integration. I guess that's, that was kind of like a teaser, kind of a look ahead to this experience that I'm going through now. I have heard that it is a 4-hour long video, or series of videos, and it does have quizzes too. It's kind of just like the welcome tour, except it's more of like a Mario Kart World welcome tour. And I will say too, you may have seen the title of this live stream, but this is an $80 instruction manual. It doesn't actually come with the game. It is an additional charge. And I have learned a lot. Oh shit. I don't know this one. Yes. This is probably false. The beginning of the route. I'm gonna say that's true. Shit. Oh, A and B. I didn't see that was an option. Okay, you know what? I do know the answer to this. Yes. Okay, special skills. All right, let's learn all about the skills.
Hey, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed your break.
Okay, this is kind of the new look for the Beetle guy. This is sort of like a beta version of him.
For this portion of our course, we are going to be examining skills for difficult driving environments.
Thanks a lot. Okay, now look at this. They're bringing back one of the older renders.
So this could save your life. 8 tips to drive safe in bad weather. You know, a car isn't just a way to go from A to B.
This could
It's a
save your life
serious
in Mario Kart
responsibility
World.
and a
I'm gonna turn
potentially
this down.
dangerous
It's pretty
machine
loud.
for you and others, especially if you have to drive in bad weather. Luckily, there are
and
special driving tips
they
to
are
avoid
referring
accidents when it's
here
pouring
to the,
rain, the road is covered in ice, or
this
you're
too
driving
loud?
in thick fog. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and ring
Whoa,
the
hit the
notification bell to
guys.
join us on the bright side.
Whoa.
So here we go. Tip number 1.
Wait, how are we
Driving
gonna
in
subscribe?
fog. Do not drive at your usual speed.
I guess
Slow
they're starting
down
kind of
so
like
that
a
you have
magazine
time to react to
subscription
different
style.
hazards that may appear on the road. If visibility is extremely limited, park
I
in a
guess it's-
safe place
Did
and
I
wait for
sign
the
up for
fog to clear.
$80 a month?
If you're driving in really thick
Uh-oh.
fog, turn off the radio and keep your windows
That's not
rolled
a-
down.
That's
This way,
really
you'll be
bad.
able to hear what's happening around you to partially
Oh my
make up
God.
for your limited visibility.
And this
Don't
thing
drive
too,
with your brights
it's
on.
like once you
Fog
start
consists of
it,
tiny water droplets that reflect
once
light,
you start it, you
making
have
your
to finish
visibility
it,
even
and,
worse. Be sure to drive with
if
your
you
low
don't- it's
beams
kinda
on,
like an
so
arcade
that you can see
style.
the road and
It's
other
harkening
drivers
back
can
to-
see you.
to
When the
Nintendo's
fog is
older
really thick, drivers usually
older
move closer to the center of
game
the road.
philosophy, which
Beware
is
of this natural tendency and make
if
sure
you
to
die,
stay
then
in your
you're
lane.
kinda done. It's
Let
sort
the
of
outer
like a
shoulder be
roguelike in
your
that way.
guide. This way, you won't run into oncoming traffic or get blinded by the headlights there. Number 2.
I don't
Driving
know if
on
that's
black
true because
ice.
they really have
Now, black ice is tricky,
some
given that
strong
in most
headlights
cases,
today, especially
you
in
can't
Mario Kart
spot
World.
it until it's too late.
which is what
When
this
driving
is about.
at night, your headlights can serve as a useful warning that there's ice ahead, since they'll
I
reflect
am
off the
gonna
road.
change the video
If you
quality.
absolutely
Uh-oh. God damn it, the timer is still going. Okay, yeah. I don't know if I want to refresh. I don't know if I want to refresh it. I don't want to lose my progress. Fuck. I think I screwed up. I'm gonna look for that. I'm gonna look for that one Instagram post and see if I can find it. I want to show you guys. Oh yeah, here it is. Yeah, this thing is I hate this video. It's really upsetting. So, let me pull this up for you guys and make sure it has full audio too. Where is it? Is it this? Wait, hold on. I don't want to show the wrong one. It's probably this one. Nope, that's not it. Get that out of there. Why is it not there? Hold on. Oh, here it is. Okay. So here's the video, and luckily we still have 4 minutes and change. So we have time to watch this probably 100 times. So you can see in this that Mario has his famous mushrooms and his famous, what kind of meat is that? Like pork and a chicken. So everyone, if you haven't got your real ID yet, you need to make sure you do that. Real ID is basically a way to prove. Oh, okay. Wait, it says right here. God, that is extremely annoying. So a real ID is marked with a star, and this is by the New York State DMV. So it proves that it's a me. And Mario has a real ID as far as I can tell, because he's eating a lot of stars here. let's just go frame by frame. So you can see that the way that he's holding it is very normal. He's kind of like clutching the star instead of just holding it like he's not pissed off. You can see that he's preparing his mouth ahead of time. So, and his ears are also kind of widened out, sort of like he's a cat or even a horse. And that's helping him prepare to gobble the star. Now let's advance. You can see here his cheeks are bulging with star power, and that his hand is kind of enlarged compared to his other hand. And he's got very shiny buttons. It sort of matches the shininess in his eyes that you would see if you were looking at him directly. If you're looking away, you won't really see that. But it's in his soul. He's really excited. He's got a lot of life in him. And then this is kind of where he makes his famous face. This is kind of, I want to pause it right on the frame where it's the most terrifying. I'm gonna get it. Let's just kind of look at that for a little bit. We only have a little bit. We only have 1 minute and 18 seconds till we can return to the video. So let's put this picture up, and I don't even know what this is. Oh, Busy Scissors. That's another famous game that is connected with the DMV. Big news is coming on Busy Scissors, by the way. Very, very big news is coming on Busy Scissors. Okay, wait, we have a few seconds left. No, give me this. Let's go back to the manual and just kind of mentally prepare ourselves. Take a break. This is kind of your chance to take a quick bathroom break before we go back and keep learning. And somehow it's only been a few minutes. Okay, all right. Oh, shit. Okay, let me log in. I don't know why it timed out. I've been on here, but okay. Okay, all right. I was worried that I was like showing my login, my very secret login that I don't want anyone to steal. All right, let me put this back up. Okay, this one, doesn't this, probably, this, oh shit. Probably this is true. This is probably true, and this is probably true. Shit. Okay. Probably this. How many times can I take this before I fail? This isn't good news. What is the answer? Someone in the chat, please tell me what the answer is. You don't use your lights because that reflects back. That's bad. Okay, all right. Keep your headlights. No, wait. I said that the first. This one. What is my favorite? I think I said. Okay, if I get this question wrong, then I'm fucked. I have to do the entire thing over again. What is my favorite food? Wait, favorite snack. Celery. Okay, all right. My adrenaline got going.
That wasn't too bad, was it? Now let's turn to traffic conditions. Traffic may be relatively light or extremely
scary.
heavy. The worst days of the week for traffic congestion are Monday mornings and Friday evenings.
Terrified.
A consideration of traffic conditions should not be limited to automobiles only, but should also include all the users of our streets and highways. Pedestrians may be seen walking or jogging along most busy streets and thoroughfares at all times of the day or night.
This is Ward.
Some will be highly visible because of their light-colored clothing, while those wearing dark colors will at times appear to be invisible until you are right upon them. Ideally, pedestrians should walk on the left side of the street facing traffic. Next, we have bicyclists that are required to obey the same rules and regulations as the operator of a motor vehicle. However, many bicyclists are children who may or may not be aware of all the regulations. Bicyclists should give hand signals when stopping or turning.
It's just one of the
when
many
passing
examples
a bicyclist,
of
it is recommended that you ease slightly over toward the left lane markings, providing for a little extra space for the cyclist. It is also advisable to give a light tap of the horn just prior to approaching the bicyclist to make him or her aware of your presence.
It is not advisable to do that. They'll get really pissed off at you if you do that.
That is a great question.
Excuse me. Smith Safety. Whoa! It looks so realistic. They must have worked very hard on this. Smith System Safety Series. I guess they had to hire this part out, but it looks really good though. The textures are really nice. Resolving the debate. I guess it's because in Mario Kart you kind of want to ram into people, but some people say you shouldn't do that. Some people say you should go around them and that you lose less speed. In the new one, did they still have the thing where, if you go behind them, then you can get a draft? I have to admit, I was never really a super involved Mario Kart player, but now that this manual has come out, what the... Am I safe? Huh? Am I safe?
Man, it's too close.
Oh my god, they actually called. I guess that's a Nintendo provided number.
Hi. I had a note in my box. You wanted to see me?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, come on in. Have a seat.
This guy's getting fired. Robin Williams.
And schedules are usually tight.
How did they get Robin Williams for this? I thought he was dead.
To many people, it seems that the only way to meet commitments and make efficient use of driving time is to keep the space in front of them to a minimum.
Again. Hold on.
Some view this small moving space as a defense mechanism, a way to cut their on-road time while simultaneously keeping others from
that's a bad idea. You should, if you're worried about getting somewhere on time, you should always use a question block and pick up a bullet
System
bill.
Driver Improvement Institute is
Or
in
a
the
Rock's
business of
Feather from
educating
Link's
drivers.
Awakening.
And few driving topics are more important than following distance.
Or the
As with
Pegasus
just about
boots
any
from Link's
driving
Awakening.
situation, Smith
They did add
System's
that to
5
Mario
keys
Kart World.
can be of tremendous value to you as you adjust to the changing
Also known as the
traffic
Pegasus
environment
boots
and
from
make your decisions about your place in traffic.
Four Swords.
The keys are flexible tools that will help
No,
you
Four
in
Swords
any vehicle
Adventures
you
is the
drive
GameCube one.
and in
Just
any
plain
driving
Four Swords.
situation that you may encounter. Key 1 is aim high in steering. This key helps drivers elevate their eyes to see important information developing 15 or more seconds up the road. Key number 2 is get the big picture. Now this is an awareness key. When you have the big picture, you are aware of your total traffic surroundings.
Whoa.
Now our third key is keep your eyes
Also,
moving.
look at that huge
Good eye
lavalier on
activity
it.
is one of the most important
That is the
elements
most
of safe
magnificent
driving. When you
lavalier
use
I have
key
seen
3,
before.
you use your eyes efficiently to evaluate and re-evaluate your changing picture. Key 4 is
I do
leave
want to
yourself
say
out.
also that, just
Space
kind of as
around
a
your
note,
vehicle is your out should you see a
that
problem
Robin Williams
developing
does really
or
look a
when
lot
you're
like Mario,
surprised
so I'm
by the
assuming
unexpected.
that's why they
All right, our
selected
fifth
him.
key is
Although I've
make
never
sure they
seen
see
Mario
you.
wear plaid before.
This key is all about timely communication among people in the traffic picture. Good communication helps people avoid making costly mistakes. To people well versed in the application of the keys, every mile traveled is an opportunity to use one, several, or perhaps all of the keys.
I guess that's a new
Their
DLC
value
that they
in helping
added. It's
people
kind of like
properly
collecting
place their
keys.
vehicle in traffic.
Sort of like
is
in
a case
Mario
in point.
Odyssey.
All right, let's get back to Ron and Jason as they begin dealing with the event that centers around the angry call
Sinners.
of an offended motorist.
Apparently,
I
at
don't
about
wanna be a
2:20 this
sinner.
afternoon,
I didn't
you
know
were on
that Mario
South
was
Border
Christian.
Street following a white Honda. Do you recall that?
I was on that street today, but I don't recall the car you're talking about.
Of course he doesn't.
I realized that it would be impossible to remember every car you followed today. And I also know you have a clean driving record with us. But the lady driving the Honda felt that you were severely tailgating.
Hey, I don't tailgate. I'm a safe
Yeah,
driver.
Wario.
Ron, you've been with us for 2 years without a blemish on your record. You must be doing a lot of things right. But ideas about the appropriate following distance often differ from person to person. A good distance for one driver seems too close to another.
I don't know. I learned
What
a
do
lot
you
of
think is the
drivers
proper
that,
following
I mean,
distance?
in Mario Kart's other
I was
manuals.
taught years ago that 2 seconds was about right.
That
I
is
mean, though I don't always
not
think about it,
enough.
I guess I usually leave that much or more.
If you're going 80 miles
I
an
might slip
hour,
from
you're
time
gonna
to time.
run over.
I don't know.
You're gonna run over somebody. You
Just
get
so I
them
know we're on
killed.
the same page. How do you measure that distance?
Well, I pick out a fixed reference point, like a parked car or a streetlight pole, and I count the seconds.
I don't
as
think
the
they
vehicle in
added
front of me
gore
passes
to the
that point,
new
until
the
the
new
front end
Mario
of my
Kart,
vehicle
though.
reaches the same point.
Good. I know you don't remember the incident, but from what I've seen, most of these calls don't come in when people stay more than 2 seconds behind the car in front of them. We can't be sure, though, and given your record, I'd like to give you the benefit of the doubt. The lady could have been having a bad day, and
Man, I
something
wish
she thought
I
you
got
did
the
might have pushed her
benefit
over
of
the
the
edge.
doubt whenever
Maybe. What
the
distance do you
virtual
recommend?
cop in Mario
When
Kart
driving
World
conditions are good,
pulled me
about
over.
4 seconds based on what you drive. You should add another second or two if weather or road conditions deteriorate, or if you're not at your best for any reason.
That guy was really grumpy, and he had
Look, I'd like
he
to
had
be
these
candid
like
here,
really huge
but I don't want to lose
eyebrows.
my job over something I say to you.
And I don't know how
You have a
they
reputation
animated
for being
it
a
to look
reasonable
so
person.
weird, but he had these
Can we talk
really
about the real
thick
world?
eyebrows.
Off the record?
And
My job is helping people stay
Whenever
out
I
of harm's way. This discussion's about keeping
whenever
you
I
safe,
told
not
him
about taking your
virtually
job
using
from you.
the chat
Unless you
button,
tell me you're breaking
the
a law
C
or
button
flaunting
on
company
the
policy,
new
it'll be
controller.
between us.
When I
I'll
told
record that we
him
talked
that,
about the phone call
I
and
was
following distance in this meeting. But that'll be all.
just
Thanks.
well, I didn't offer an excuse.
Look,
I just said
Nothing personal.
I didn't
But
say
it seems
anything
to me that there are
incriminating.
3 major
I
factors
just
that
said
make your recommendations
I
impractical.
know what the speed limit
First of all,
is, and
traffic
I
is
know what I
heavier than
was
ever.
going. But
It's almost impossible
he
to
raised
get
his
and keep that
eyebrow,
kind of
and
space.
it was kind of like
Second,
the only thing I
I've
can
always got
compare
plenty
it
to
to
do.
is
I
like
mean, more often than not, I'm running behind schedule.
the guy
If
from
I have to
Cloudy
stay
with the
that far
Chance of
back, I'm going to be
Meatballs, like
asking
the
for people to
dad
cut me off all day long.
who raises
final
his
objection is
eyebrows,
that
and
Some people cut in and then slow
it's
down.
kind of like he has a whole
I mean,
new
that's
look
not just
to him.
irritating, it's time consuming. Look, the fact is,
It was
I
kind of
can't
like that,
maintain
except he
both
didn't raise
that kind
both
of
eyebrows.
distance
He only
and my
raised
schedule.
one.
I mean, one or the other is going to have to give. In 2 seconds, some cut
It
in,
was
but I keep most of them out.
the funniest
seems like a
raised
fair
eyebrow
compromise.
ever, but
And like
I did
you
not
said, I
laugh,
have a good record.
fortunately.
Like many other drivers, Ron apparently sees good following distance as an obstacle to getting his job done. We don't think so, but we'll get to that in just a few minutes. Now, among the things Ron might not have considered is the danger he runs when he deliberately compresses the space between his vehicle and the vehicle he is following.
This guy is pretty, Mario is pretty close to the roadway right now. That's dangerous.
When people follow at 2 seconds or less, they must dedicate a great deal of attention to the vehicle ahead of them.
When driving in dry desert from Paper Mario, you always want to make sure that you spend at least 10 seconds every 1 second looking around you to make sure that there's no pokies or buzzy beetles. If you don't spend 10 hours every 1 second looking around you, you could get killed.
It's clear that when people choose to follow too closely, their safety is jeopardized. There are a few questions that we ask drivers to help them arrive at their own conclusions. How can a person consistently look far up the road if their eyes are constantly being drawn back and down to the leading vehicle? Is obtaining and maintaining the big picture practical or even possible when most of the driver's attention must be focused directly in front of them?
That's a good point.
For reasons already mentioned, eye fixation is very common when following distance is inadequate. How can drivers deal with a problem they've not yet seen? The space in front is already compromised. But if it's difficult to move your eyes, wouldn't it also be difficult to consistently check your mirrors and know if out to the sides and to the rear are in place?
That is what you want to see in a AAA.
If a person's eyes aren't moving properly, how can they know with whom they might need to establish eye contact?
Now they do also have this in paper form.
Traffic danger can develop quickly.
Sort of like a Paper Mario.
Can be hard to come by when space in front of the vehicle is minimized. All right, let's check back with Ron and Jason as they talk about the additional driving time. Ron believes it
is more expensive though for the paper version because number one, it's Paper Mario, but number two, they had to print out every single frame from all the videos.
In a typical day, how many times
it gets really thick. It's over.
Other drivers
it is at 30 frames per second instead of 60, which is a disadvantage.
40 times a day, if you give them an inch.
Okay.
But
when you are cut off, how much speed do you think you lose?
I think it totals like for the whole 4-hour training manual with the video.
Well, my guess is that I'd have to slow down 2 or 3 miles per hour for 3 or 4 seconds every time it happens. It adds
890,000 pages.
Let's take the largest numbers you mentioned and see what you're up against mathematically. At 40 miles per hour, you're doing nearly 59
Mario
feet
has
per second.
math in it. What the hell?
If you slow down to 37 miles per hour, you'll be covering almost 54 feet per second. So your adjustment costs you about 5 feet per second. And that reduced speed lasts about 4 seconds or so, you say. So each time you're cut off, it costs you about 20 feet. You think it might happen about 40 times a day, right?
What is this, a puzzle game?
I guess.
Okay. If you multiply the 40 events times the 20 feet per occurrence,
in Mario
you get
Kart
800 feet. Okay?
Oh wait, that's all Mario Kart players do.
All right, let's put it all together. If you lose 800 feet per day, and you're traveling at, say, 40 miles per hour, or 59 feet per second, you're losing just over 13 seconds a day.
That is way too much.
And that assumes that people stay in your lane. Many don't.
That is the difference between
I heard what you said about people cutting in and slowing down.
On the speed
when that happens, and keep in mind that it happens at 2 seconds as well as 4, you can either be patient until they cut out again, or,
and
if
you guys
permitted,
know by now,
make a safe lane change and move on by them. As long as you don't exceed the speed limit, you don't have to let the slowest driver in traffic dictate your pace. It may seem at times like you're getting behind schedule, but if it's true, it's not because you're following a safe distance.
Which I am now the moderator for. I have that much experience.
I'll be honest, Jason. I mean, I never thought about it that way.
I'm at the farm in
I'm
France.
not surprised.
You guys will
Most
know.
drivers haven't. The package I hope you'll consider is pretty nice. With more following distance, you get greater awareness, more time, more escape options, and considerably less daily stress than the average uneducated driver will ever experience. That adds up too.
Wow.
What do you think?
It really adds up when you get educated with
13 seconds isn't much
the
of a
welcome
sacrifice.
tour and with this.
I also like the idea of
I would
better
recommend
visibility and
the electronic
I can even see
version
how leaving more room might
just
reduce
because
stress.
whenever you get the paper version, it is
To be honest,
$10
even if
extra,
the
it
number
is
of times I was cut off
$90,
is doubled or tripled,
and they do
I can
require
afford
you
less than a minute a day to get there.
to bind it yourself. You do have to staple all the
It's important to understand that
890,000
every
pages.
driving scenario is different. In the city, you may encounter heavily congested areas, as we previously discussed. However,
I'm in
rural
section 3
roads
now.
can offer the opposite. And you may think that empty roads make for easier driving circumstances, but rural roads can come with their own set of hazards. In rural areas, some of your concerns should be a false sense of security and the casual, laid-back drivers. Whereas in residential areas, you are more likely to be faced with parked cars, pets, and most importantly, children playing.
I don't know anything
anymore. In commercial areas, you are likely to
get
get stuck behind a delivery vehicle, which will impede the flow of traffic.
Thanks, Bug. Shit. I don't know. Get the big picture. Okay, this is good. I would say 10 seconds, and I would say, what is the worst? Probably Friday evenings. Shit. Oh, 30 seconds? Probably 40 seconds. Probably 100 million billion seconds to make sure that you're not getting run over. Please? Yes. I'm really good at this, guys. I'm really, really good at this.
Okay, class. Who's ready for a physics lesson?
I do want to set this into HD quality.
Please, no!
In addition to the factors we have just discussed that influence driver performance, there are also physical forces that influence driver control. Some of the forces that affect our vehicle control are speed, traction, and inertia. When you travel at higher speeds on these roads, remember you will need a longer stopping distance. Your vehicle is more difficult to control, and in the event of a collision, the risk of you being injured is significantly higher.
If you don't stay safe in Mario Kart World, you may run into Toad or Yoshi or something and kill them.
Listen to the sounds of your tires on the surface. If the road sounds rough or you experience difficulty with traction, slow down and be prepared to adjust your steering. Sudden changes in traction can occur when transitioning from a paved road to a dirt road and may result in a loss of control.
I'm not sure where they're adding all these terms that don't usually apply to Mario Kart.
Keep both hands on the wheel at all times.
Beatrice, can we please just watch a video?
If you insist.
Can we please just fucking... Can we please just,
Let's say you're in Britain on a dual carriageway.
Number file.
I'm going to try and draw this.
What?
2 lanes, and we're both going this direction. And there's a blue car on the left, and it's
They
going
put
at
number
70
file in
miles
this?
per hour,
What
which
the
is
hell?
the legal limit on motorways and dual carriageways in this country.
Why are we watching number file in Mario Kart?
Is, you could be doing the right thing, and other people on the roads.
What the hell?
There's a guy overtaking the blue car. It's going to be
How did they get number file?
It's always the red car, and he's going faster. In fact, I'm going to draw him in at the moment he overtakes, and he's going. I'm sure it's happened to me in the.
All right, I'm going to shut up and let you guys enjoy number file.
Barreling past me, going at 100 miles an hour. Certainly, it could happen, whether it's on a motorway.
I cannot believe they put number file in.
But there is a moment when they're neck and neck, and that's the moment I want to freeze time and ask you about. What happened
once again, mathematics. All right.
They see in front of them a tree,
you guys watch this.
Some barrier, which is unexpected, and so they both need to brake. And we're going to assume lots of things, like is always the case with a mathematical question. We have to model it to keep it simple enough to answer. So the models here might be that let's assume they're the same cars. Let's assume reaction times are not part of this. We could add those things in later if we want to complicate the model. Let's assume they both slam on the brakes at the same time and they brake at the same rate. And by the time he gets there, the blue car is sort of just stopped in time. So that's the blue car, who's got smaller apparently as he approached. He is stopped with millimetres to spare, which is good.
So the blue car just stops as it gets to the tree?
No crash for the blue guy. He slammed on the brakes just in time. Well, I'm going to claim it's obvious that the red guy is in trouble. The red guy is moving quicker, he brakes at the same time, at the same rate. I think he's definitely going to crash. No one seems to argue about whether the red guy's going to crash. What's really crucial, and here's the puzzle for you, is that it matters what speed you crash at, right? If you crash at 1 mile an hour, no one's going to really worry. If you crash at 1,000 miles an hour, you're in trouble. Now, he's not going to crash at 1,000 miles an hour. He's going to crash slower because he started braking. But at what speed does he hit the tree? And that's the puzzle. There's an intuition to get involved here. There's also some maths to check it out. And the answer is, well, it surprised me. We're back. So the red guy has crashed. I just feel like I missed my chance to draw a crash. So this is the red guy. He's He's in pieces all over the place because your intuition doesn't work well with speed questions. And this is why I got a bit surprised about this. The first thing to notice is that a lot of people think the answer is 30 miles an hour. It's really sensible to think about the difference in speed, which is 30 miles an hour at the start, and think if everything else is the same, surely that's the speed it's got left over. There are lots of reasons why it's not correct, and one of the reasons you'll probably think is I wouldn't be asking this question if it was 30. Fine. Another intuition thing to ask though is, do you think it's slower than 30 or do you think it's quicker than 30? Because if it's not 30, it's one of the two. And I'm going to tell you the answer and I'm going to justify it, because when someone told me the answer, just bawled, I was surprised. I was also a bit shocked and, dare I say it, sobered. And maybe I changed my driving habits a little bit, because the red guy hits the tree, assuming all that stuff we assumed, at approximately 71 miles per hour.
71?
71. He has not even reached the speed that the blue guy started braking at. And he's hit the tree at that speed. There's a difference between not crashing at all, well done blue guy, and hitting a brick wall, or a tree in this case, at 71 miles an hour. And that was from a difference of 30 miles an hour to start with, and everything else is the same. It's pretty easy to justify this, but the answer is sobering enough. So I think we should justify it before I leave you to go and change your driving habits, and myself on my way home. There are many ways to solve this, and maybe if you've solved it a certain way, try and solve it another way. You can use things called the Suvat equations. I've heard people make up nice rhymes to remember these things. They're to do with constant acceleration equations, to do with speed, distance, and time. But there's another way which gets you the answer more quickly. So maybe you should go and try the Suvat thing. But if you think about kinetic energy, this actually is quite easy. So I'm going to imagine that I'm going to do lots of slightly dodgy things here, but you have to imagine that I'm just getting a ballpark for this model. The kinetic energy for the blue guy is going to be to do with several things. There's a formula for kinetic energy which looks like this. There's a half in there for reasons I'm not going to go into. There's the mass of the car, which we're going to assume is the same for both cars, and there is its velocity. Now, if we're going to actually work out the kinetic energy, we'd work this out in meters per second, because that's the units that kinetic energy works in. I'm just going to dodge that. So I'm actually going to say that it's kind of, the kinetic energy is proportional to this, because I'm just going to work with 70s. But I hope you forgive me this dodge, because I'm going to do the same with the red car so we can compare them. So the blue guy has got half m, whatever the m is, and we've got 70 squared. That's its velocity in miles per hour, and we won't worry about it being in meters per second. Red guy, easy enough calculation, has the kinetic energy at the start of a half m. We're going to assume that's the same mass because it's the same car, but this time we've got 100 squared because that's his velocity to start with. And I'm going to claim that in braking, you're getting rid of kinetic energy. I don't think that's controversial. And the blue guy's got rid of all of it. So there's none left. So what we need to work out is how much energy that is. And if actually I calculate, the only number in here is 70 squared. If the, so I'm going to say this is proportional to 70 squared, which is 4,900 amount of energy. It's not in joules because I'd need to have the units changed. But the red guy is proportional to 100 squared, which is 10,000. So even if the red guy gets rid of all the energy the blue guy's got rid of, which he would if everything else is the same, I just need to do 10,000, take away 4,900, which is 5,100 of whatever units we're using left, which is more than the blue guy started with. If you square root this, you get 71 point something. And that's it. The red guy is doomed, and it gets worse because we haven't even considered what would happen if they maybe take a tiny bit of time to react to the tree. If they take the same time to do it, the blue guy has traveled less far than the red guy, so it's looking even worse. One other thing to bear in mind is maybe you brake quicker when you're moving quicker because there's more friction, but that doesn't counteract the fact that the red guy is now doomed. The first time I heard the story, I had to go on a course.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry, guys.
Being aware of speed on the road.
I had to speak with.
I was a good idea.
Rosalina came here and was kind of.
But they were telling me all this stuff about
informing me about the tech. I never thought that Nintendo
sobered me up, and they were telling
itself
me
would
no effect. So I tried to tell them this, they didn't appreciate
would offer tech,
but it is powerful. It made me slow down, and the crucial thing to take away is that it's the square
directly,
of your speed
like
that all your energy, and that's the bit our intuition.
They're just
really
kind of giving information right off the bat about breaking
your
game.
If speedometers in a car, instead of going 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, if they went up with gaps that were proportional to the square of those numbers, then you'd get this lovely intuition that going from 70 to 100 is like doubling your energy instead of just going up 30 miles an hour.
True. That is definitely true. Thanks, Nintendo. Please don't be a quiz. Okay.
I still don't get it.
See that ball you are bouncing, Larry?
Well, yeah.
Every time you hit the ground with that ball, it creates a force of impact. The greater the distance you bounce the ball, the greater the force of impact will be.
Oh, okay. Why didn't they just say that?
So let's say you needed to stop that ball mid-bounce, Larry.
Wait, isn't it basic
Do you know how long it would
physics
take to stop the ball mid-air? Maybe less than a second. Braking distance is affected the same way. Once the brakes are applied, you travel 25 times farther traveling 50 miles per hour compared to 10 miles per hour. You would travel 36 times farther to stop when driving 60 miles per hour. Greater speeds and distances make it exponentially more important to slow down in situations that may require a quick stop.
You have more inertia, but the force
like when a child unexpectedly runs into the roadway.
Or the amount of work done, the amount of energy imparted is increased, but the force is not. Did they not watch the number file video? They should have been paying attention, like me.
When a vehicle collides with an object, it hits that object with a certain force of impact. The degree of control the driver will then have over the vehicle depends on the size of this force.
I mean, it's different for vehicles.
Depends on several factors.
There is actually a force.
The faster the vehicle is traveling, the greater the force of impact.
The acceleration.
Similarly, the heavier the vehicle, the greater the force of impact. These two factors determine a vehicle's momentum. In addition, the force of impact is affected by the distance between the impact and the vehicle's eventual stopping point, and whether the vehicle hits a fixed or moving object.
Excuse me.
For example, when a vehicle hits a brick wall, the force of impact is high, and the driver will have very little control over.
Okay, thank you. This. Oh, 750. Let's say 71. That sounds dangerous. Yes. Oh my god. I'm a genius. All the karts have different acceleration. So it is important to know this.
Look, I am a fly now. Buzz, buzz. Ouch.
Sheesh, Larry.
Those
glasses won't help if they aren't your correct prescription.
What prescription? I get these out of a vending machine.
Oh dear.
Bro doesn't know about prescriptions.
You shouldn't be running or flying about with glasses that you don't need. That is dangerous and seriously messes with your field of vision.
I don't see any fields nearby.
The ability to see clearly is called visual acuity. The most common problem known as impaired visual acuity may cause you to have difficulty clearly identifying signs, signals, and markings on the road. You may also have difficulty noticing objects. If your visual acuity is impaired, you are required to wear corrective lenses when driving. If your visual acuity falls below a certain spot, you may be granted a restricted license. If you receive a restricted license, you may only be allowed to drive under certain conditions, such as driving during the day. If you are wearing corrective lenses, you must wear them while driving. Otherwise, your license may be suspended or revoked. You need good visual acuity to gather information in order to make sound decisions. Proper vision care includes having your eyes examined every 2 years and yearly after the age of 55. The eye exam, among other things, should include a check of your night vision. If glasses are prescribed, sunglasses should be obtained in addition to regular glasses for those periods of bright sunlight. Proper vision care should also be extended to your vehicle's visual aids, i.e. lights, windows, and mirrors. Headlights should be checked at regular intervals and properly aligned. Defective lights should be promptly replaced. All lights, windows, and mirrors should be cleaned as needed for maximum efficiency.
But let's remember, Billy, that your vision is not the only sense you rely on for driving.
Well, it's a big part.
Yes, but it's not the only part. Drivers should rely on all 5 senses when behind the wheel of a moving vehicle. We use our sense of hearing for many things.
Okay, I'm waiting for this to be explained.
Sirens and trains that alert
They're gonna
us
say
to potential
don't eat
hazards.
food, although that would totally go against
your own vehicle.
the new mechanic
If we can
where
hear
you
it
can eat
malfunctioning,
food.
we can get to a safe place to stop and avoid further danger on the road.
Notice that they don't get out of the car when they
The sense of touch on the steering wheel can tell the driver when the vehicle is approaching the limits of adhesion. If the steering feels tighter than normal, it can mean the tires are sliding, hydroplaning, or maybe on ice. A front-end skid can also be felt as a light vibration in the steering wheel as the tires slide across the pavement. The sense of touch is also in our feet, and this applies to the use of our pedals.
On this.
That touch can tell the driver exactly how much throttle is being applied,
is that like a
or
graphics
how much
option
brake pedal force is being applied.
I haven't actually started playing the game yet. I only got the instruction manual.
Feel the pedals properly. Heavy winter boots can desensitize
I wanted
the
to make
driver's
sure
feet
that I really
and make telling which
understood.
pedals or how much pedal effort is being applied almost impossible. We use our sense of touch to better understand road conditions.
I'm sure sense
and
of
when we
smell
sit up
makes
straight
sense
in the
because
driver's seat,
you can
wearing
smell
adequate
the
footwear for driving,
you
we
can
are
smell
more capable of
the
applying our
camels,
brakes and
the new camels
accelerator
that they
to deal
have.
with emergency
'Cause
situations
those camels
such as
smell
flat
really bad. I
tires
don't know if
or
you guys
road
have ever
hazards
smelled a
that may
camel.
include old tires, dead animals, gravel, or potholes. And like the honeybee, drivers can rely on their sense of smell in addition to their other four senses.
I'm waiting for taste,
Honeybees
though.
communicate
I'm really
through
waiting to
pheromones
understand
to indicate nearby
how
pollen
taste
sources,
works.
danger, or another piece of attractive real estate nearby. Your vehicle has its own special pheromones too. Different smells your car emits can let you and other drivers on the road know when there is trouble. The smell of hot oil can warn of possible engine damage. The smell of antifreeze can indicate a coolant leak. The distinct odor of hot brakes can let a driver know of the danger of overheated brakes.
That you are about to be hit
Electrical
with a Koopa
shorting
shell
can give off an aroma
by a
that can mean the
Koopa.
difference between calling for a tow truck or calling the fire department. We smell burning rubber or wires burning or gas fumes. This could greatly influence our actions that will
I'll tell
keep
you,
us
there's
safe.
a lot of burning rubber
When in
in
doubt,
Mario
have
Kart.
strange odors checked out by a mechanic before they can lead to costly repairs,
Especially when I'm
crashes,
playing.
or fires.
Wow, you're right, Beatrice. I guess
Tell me
I never
about
thought of
taste.
it like that.
Yes, Billy. When a driver properly relies on all 5 of their senses, it can really benefit their
taste.
reaction abilities.
Reaction abilities?
Our reaction is based on how much knowledge we have about the road conditions around us. How much are we paying attention?
Okay.
and
Whenever
what is our
you
attitude?
can fucking
If we
see,
don't give our complete
then
attention
you
to the
can
driving task,
avoid
our
hitting a
reaction
car.
can be
Oh,
delayed
okay.
and less accurate. Many collisions could be prevented and would have been prevented if a driver had the right information about the traffic environment and was able to react with enough time to avoid a hazard that needed attention. Also, a driver who reacts quickly will reduce their ability to control the vehicle with precision and often skids, which results in hazardous consequences. Deaths and injuries can be a result of reacting too late or reacting quickly. A simple reaction takes place in a single step, like the knee-jerk reaction you experience when the doctor tests your reflexes during a physical. A complex reaction is much more common in driving scenarios.
Refer to Dr.
Complex
Mario
reactions do not take place in a single step.
It really
On the
is Mario
contrary,
Kart world.
They are a sequence of
like
simple
a whole
reactions that eventually reach an end.
integrated world
A good
with
example
like all
would be the
sorts
chain
of like
reaction that texting and driving
smells
causes.
and
1. A driver looks
this must
down
be
to
for the
check their cell phone.
4D
2.
VR one
While
that they
texting,
sell.
the driver drifts into another lane. 3. A driver runs off the road.
Cool, thanks.
Here.
Thanks for that information.
We all know that distracted
Texas.
driving, and specifically texting while driving, is a major national safety concern. But
Thanks,
until researchers
Republican
with the Texas
Senator
Transportation
Ted
Institute
Cruz.
conducted a first-of-its-kind study, we didn't know how dangerous it really is. Up until now, published research has been limited to results of texting drivers that were tested using driving simulators. TTI's study examined drivers in an actual driving environment.
Okay, when I was a
Associate
kid,
Transportation Researcher
let me tell you a
Christine
story.
Yeager
When I was a kid,
demonstrates how that research was conducted.
When I was a kid, I had a science fair that I was required to do for school, and I was in elementary school, and they forced every single person to do the science fair. And I couldn't think of anything that I wanted to do. All I knew was that I liked video games. So I made my, so my experiment was, is texting while driving bad? And the answer is yes, but the way that I measured it is I had my test subjects play Need for Speed. Need for Speed. What was the one for the Wii called? Need for Speed Nitro. Oh, what is the one with like the green logo? Let me look at this up. Yeah, Need for Speed Nitro. Yeah. So I made my test subjects come over and play Need for Speed Nitro. And see how their racing skills were affected. But the only issue was that my test subjects were my family members because I couldn't get anyone else to do it who is an adult. And the problem is it was like my fucking grandma who had never played a video game in her life. And she had to do the science experiment. And she was bad at driving without texting because she's my fucking grandma.
Older generation of drivers more so than others. As we age, one thing is certain:
I got like 10th place.
Usually results in slower and less precise reaction abilities and a corresponding reduction in our abilities to accurately judge speed and distance. Therefore, as we age as a result of this weakened condition, we should slow our speed a little, not too much, to handle road conditions that may not be optimal. If we sense problems because we are using our senses and we act early, our success as a driver is greatly enhanced. Speed control is so important. Using our senses to see what the conditions are that enable us to drive at reduced speeds when necessary can save your life. If you don't hear an ambulance, if you don't see someone running a stop sign, if you aren't aware of an overheating engine, or you don't respond to centrifugal force that is telling you that you are going too fast, it could be fatal. How far or near a hazard is to your vehicle is of the utmost importance to safe driving. If you are impaired and see a vehicle coming up on the road, you have to decide to pull out or let the vehicle go by. Having your senses enable you to judge accurately. Without the ability to see a vehicle...
I think they conjugated that verb wrong. Vision superiority, huh? Your reaction time doubles? I don't think so. Wait, what? Oh, as in time, not as in ability to... Okay, I get it. True. How much longer is on this manual? I feel like I already learned so much.
Yeah, uh-huh. And then you turn at the old mill sign. Yes, tons of corn. The best field I've seen for months. Yeah, I would plan to stay the whole afternoon. Bring some chairs to relax and maybe some doggy bags to take leftovers home.
Corn,
and a designated
sort of like,
flyer. Yeah, sure.
Sort of like Kern.
Then just go there. Yeah,
or
yeah,
corn.
Okay, sure.
All right. Famous.
What Larry is doing is actually a really important part of driving. It's called
famous
trip
mystery
planning.
Game that was
Consider
released.
the many questions you ask yourself as you grab your car keys and head out the door.
Controls.
What route will you take? How many stops will there be? Do you know where to park? Is there enough gas in the car? Should you add in a trip to the gas station? Is there enough time to get everything done before you need to be home again? Who's coming with you? Any children? Are there enough seatbelts for everyone? Is the dog coming? Will it have to sit in a hot car on any of your stops? For how long?
So.
Will the kids? Are you picking stuff up or dropping stuff off? Will it fit in the trunk or the carry space? Do you have your money and your driver's license with you? Have you got your cell phone? Is it charged and turned on? Will you smoke while you drive or drink a soda or put your lipstick on at the first red light?
What is that?
What are the weather conditions outside?
I've never seen that before. That's
then
like a
consider
medieval...
whether your answers to these questions are good decisions.
That's like a Tears of the Kingdom.
Knowing the best route to take, when to take it, and road conditions that may be present makes a big difference in the risk you will experience.
Fire in it.
When you take a trip, whether it is short or long,
I've never seen
if
that.
possible,
What is that?
plan your driving when traffic is
How
less
is there
of a
fire in
threat.
there?
You may want to take a longer route to avoid a congested
There's not enough
roadway,
space to
resulting
put,
in
like,
less stress and fewer hazards. Try to be at your best condition, which means you are rested and alert.
I'm
if the weather
ignorant about
looks like it
camping
will affect
stuff,
your safety,
apparently.
see if you can plan around driving when conditions are poor. If you plan your trip with enough time, you will be able to make better decisions, experience less stress, and make your trip so much more safe and enjoyable. Give yourself plenty of time to deal with the unexpected problems such as slow drivers, traffic jams, or bad weather, and you will be less likely to become emotionally upset.
Sorry, that was my auntie asking about the cornfield.
Okay, I did find like
no
a
worries,
tripod
Larry.
thing,
that
but
was
I
very
didn't find
responsible of
fire
you.
coming from
We were just
inside.
admiring your trip planning abilities.
Oh wait, I found
did
one.
something right?
No, it's on the ground.
Cool.
Because why would
Yes,
the fire
Larry.
be hanging
Have you
on
ever
the
heard the
tripod?
driving expression,
Like,
it's
how are
not
you
your driving I'm
supposed to-
worried about. It's the other drivers on the road you have to watch out for.
How are you supposed to cook your
well,
food?
there is some definite truth in
But
that
also,
statement.
I just want to
well,
know
you
why
do
it's in
need
the
to be
shot.
mindful
Like,
of your own driving
why do they
skills.
really need it
A
to be in
basic
there?
fundamental of
I guess
defensive
it's
driving is
metaphorical.
anticipating the actions of others. The principle of defensive driving revolves around driving skills that allow you to defend yourself against possible collisions caused by bad drivers, drunk drivers, and poor weather.
Oh, Billy, have you talked about the SAFE driving system yet?
I was just about to get to that. What Beatrice is referring to is the safe driving system that promotes collision avoidance. It's an acronym that is all about evaluating the traffic environment
it's an
around your
acronym,
vehicle.
Okay.
See and evaluate. Anticipate potential hazards. Formulate a decision for an escape route. And execute the necessary
I'm gonna
evasive
have to remember
actions.
that for the quiz.
Safe. When you
This is
practice the
hard.
rules of the safe driving
If this
system,
was school,
you can
I
better
would fail.
anticipate the actions of other drivers on the road. A driver should always be looking 15 to 30 seconds up the road to watch for potential hazards. Most
Gotta
drivers
memorize
look about
these
4 to
numbers.
6 seconds in front of their vehicle.
Okay, so
this is
pretty
inefficient to
much
handle problems without quick reactions.
It has been
By
2.5
looking up the
hours,
road,
so
we
I
become
think
much
I'm
more
over halfway
relaxed.
through the...
We see more. We see more problems. We react early to anticipated
I think I'm
problems,
halfway through
and we have more
the-
time to make and execute safe decisions to handle potential problems.
manual here.
Here, let's watch an example of what happens when you don't anticipate the actions of another driver crowding into your lane.
Let's do that. That's a good idea. I love these 90s themed ones. Nintendo really outdid themselves on this. Hi.
I'm Craig T. Nelson, and wouldn't it be great if yours was the only car on the road?
Hi.
But that's never
I'm
the
Mario
case.
Brothers.
You know, technology keeps on developing safer vehicles, but the one safety factor that's beyond the control of automobile designers and manufacturers is you. We're going to put you in the driver's seat to see how you would react to some driving situations we hope you never have to face. Joining me on our cross-country journey is one of the hosts of CBS This Morning and a beautiful lady, Paula Zahn.
Well, thanks, Craig. Hi, everybody. We're
Oh,
starting on
beautiful
one of the
lady.
most challenging roadways in America, the Los Angeles freeway system.
I
It's
guess
a
this is
complex
where Daisy
network of
makes an
roads where a
appearance.
single
What is
wrong
her
move
hair,
or even
though?
a moment of indecision
What is
can
that?
spell disaster.
You're in the left lane on a crowded expressway
Why
driving
did
at
they-
highway speed.
why did they
the
give
lanes are
Daisy
narrow, and
that?
the only thing between you and the oncoming traffic is a metal guardrail. The car to your right suddenly enters your lane, hitting your car and forcing you into the guardrail. What should you do? A. Slam on the brakes. B. Maintain your grip on the wheel while gradually braking to a stop. C. Maintain your grip on the wheel and move to the right. D. Turn hard to the right to avoid hitting the guardrail again.
I would say E. Move on.
The answer
move on
is
to
B.
the guardrail and
Maintain
grind
your grip
it.
on the wheel
Just-
and brake firmly, but not to the point where your brakes
I'm gonna
lock
give you
up.
some speed because you
Gradually
get the
steer away
grind
from
boost.
the guardrail and come to a stop in the
And
left
when
lane
you
once
flip off,
traffic
you can do a
behind
trick
you
and
has
get another
reacted to
grind
your
boost.
problem.
So
do not
I would
attempt
say
to cross
probably do
lanes
that.
of heavy traffic. Do not slam on the brakes. You could lock your wheels and skid or be
Okay,
struck from the rear.
thank you. Back to the campfire.
While traffic accidents are an unfortunate byproduct of driving, This collision may have been avoided if the driver of the car that had been hit had noticed the offending vehicle crowding his lane and given them more of a space cushion to avoid any potential hazard. While this accident serves as an example of poor driver anticipation, the collision ultimately serves as an example of decision-making. Even though a collision did occur, the driver of the vehicle could have chosen to swerve into oncoming lanes of traffic rather than stay to the left of the highway. This would have caused a greater hazard for multiple drivers on the freeway. This driver made good common sense of the situation by staying to the left. One thing is for sure, as a driver, you always need to compensate for the mistakes of other drivers. You should always have an escape route. Your escape route may be found to your left or right, depending on the position of other vehicles or objects. If you are trying to avoid a head-on collision, in most cases, your escape route will be found to your right.
I know us honeybees implement necessary maneuvers when it comes to collision avoidance.
What do you mean exactly?
Here are some helpful tips. Number 1, constantly keep your eyes moving.
Unfortunately, the water physics aren't really
especially on long trips when you are driving on a highway or a familiar route. But by scanning the road, you can look out for any
really
potential hazard you might encounter.
Part of video games,
your eyes should be
they
constantly moving up and down the road, to the sides, and
focus
to the rear view mirrors.
Water.
Go on.
For some reason.
Well then, here is number 2, which you already touched on a little bit
you can
with
see
knowing
that they
your
didn't
escape
even
route.
animate it. They
As
did
a
put in
driver,
a
you should always leave yourself an out
of water,
at all
but
times.
they didn't even
Try to place your
animate it.
vehicle where your
hopefully
safety
it's
is
not
not
like that in the
determined by
actual
other
game.
drivers. You want to be
I do know that they had to outsource
this means you need a place to head if danger
to
appears.
another company.
When driving, this is called looking for
I guess they had illumination work on
places
it.
where you can go to.
Why is this
That was
separate
a good
videos?
clip, Beatrice.
Isn't this just
Do you
one
have any
long
more
video?
tips?
Well, I can think of one more. Number 3 is to be visible to others.
What do you mean? I am not invisible.
I mean, make sure other drivers know you are there. For example,
I guess
on
it's
freeways
technically
where
better for
improper
speed
lane
run
changes are
purposes
one of the most
because
frequent causes of serious accidents.
every time there's
and
like a
on 2-lane
click
roads,
to continue,
where
it lets
vehicles
you
going
save
the other
like 2
direction are
seconds.
frequently passing slower
So
vehicles.
it technically is
use
gonna
your
add up.
headlights. You may want to use your headlights in nearly all driving situations, as this helps other drivers notice you.
Thanks, Beatrice. I would like to now talk about some common driver mistakes that you should be on the lookout for. Errors can include not paying attention and veering into another lane, losing traction from driving too fast or bad roads.
Bad idea. I usually try
drivers
to pay
who are unaware of your presence.
That I do.
Inexperienced drivers who make a bad decision or just are not efficient. Tailgaters. Someone who doesn't yield. Running red lights and stop signs.
I always pay
Impaired
attention.
drivers making mistakes.
You know,
no matter what the error as a defensive driver, we avoid collisions that many don't realize could have happened had it not been for our driving skills and habits. Defensive means watching out for everyone else.
I think you are forgetting a big error that many drivers make, Billy.
I always pay attention. God damn it. Why would you not do that? Okay, fine. Shit. What's my favorite? What's my favorite? What's my favorite? If I fail, I have to redo the entire thing. Where is it? What's my favorite coffee? Okay. Oh, Zen proverb. When you drive, just that is not a Zen proverb. Nobody said that in Zen. Nobody said that in ancient China, like 200,000 years ago. Nobody said that.
And humid with a high of 96, with the winds out of the
Dude, are you eating or are you driving?
Sorry.
You can get so distracted when you're eating. had plenty of time to move out of the way. That was a little bit of a intense reaction. You should always turn the audio off when you're playing Mario Kart World, and you should never do the thing where you can eat the burger to change your costume. You should never do that. It's unsafe.
If we don't make a deal happen by tomorrow, we're going to lose the opportunity, and I'm going to hold you accountable.
What happened?
I think you broke my femur!
Some guy jumped in front of my car. Call you back.
Mercy! Mercy! Oh, that's so bad! Oh, man!
Don't tell the kids to calm down? Don't unwrap a Jolly Rancher? You can open a Jolly Rancher. That takes like...
So, I can't even eat and
takes
fly?
like literally 1 second.
Come on! I am a busy bug, Billy.
No, Larry. Eating and flying isn't safe. You and other drivers should always focus on the task at hand.
What is your favorite
when you
music
drive,
to listen to while driving?
Distracted, you put yourself and other drivers at risk. Don't forget that we all share the road. And it is important to remember that some road users need more protection than others.
I never understood that.
Take
I never
motorcycles,
understood
for
why
instance.
they say to not
They are
listen to
considered
music,
vulnerable
because
road users.
as long as you're paying attention. God damn it. Why does it keep doing that? I didn't know that Mario Kart World was invested in by the state of Arizona. I will say I'm getting very
I'd like you to
fatigued.
look at a short film designed to help you be more aware of motorcyclists on the road. Who knows? It could keep you from being involved in a crash one day. Why is that important to me? Because I ride a scooter and I love it.
This is
I ride to
intense.
get around and for fun. I've taken a rider training course and try to do everything right on the road, but sometimes I feel invisible out there. The things I've learned while riding have made me a better car driver, and
Is it loud enough? This lady's not talking
too.
loud enough.
It's possible for scooter riders and motorcyclists to ride legally and still become involved in a crash, most often with a car or truck that doesn't see them. We all do our best on the road. Well, most of the time. But
Well.
the one time a car or truck driver doesn't see someone on a bike, it's going to turn out badly for both of them. Too many drivers hit motorcyclists each year. What you're about to see might help you avoid becoming part of the statistic.
Okay, that's good. Shit, I didn't know they had gore in this game.
Tomorrow's the wedding.
Well, I guess it's rated T.
Oh, you didn't forget about that. Yeah, she made it the best. No, I tried that one year, but I couldn't really. Hold on a second. Yeah, honey. Where's my white shirt? It's at the laundry. We're gonna get it on the way, okay?
Why do I have to go to Lewis's stupid recital?
For the same reason he has to go to your soccer games. Now your dad's busy. I'm it. Okay, I gotta go. Bye. All right, here we go, guys. Seatbelts.
I guess this is kind of giving a better view of the NPCs from New Donk City.
I wish you didn't have to work today.
I know, it's just for a few hours, hon, just until Freddie can get in. ER's gonna be nuts today. Half the staff's out sick, so.
Will you be home in time for Indian Princess's dying?
Of course
Indian
I will,
Princess.
sweetheart.
That's a little outdated. Also, I've never heard of a doctor who rides a motorcycle. They're all too smart for that. Good driving, good job. Stopping at a stop sign. Got his lights on, even during the day. That's good. Kid has the thing on.
It's too loud. That's Lewis's favorite song. Well, Lewis needs to think about his recital, and I need to think about all the stuff I gotta do today, okay? Okay, just
Helen, honey, wake up. You're missing a beautiful day.
How can I get the playback thing to go away? This is the last video. After this, I'm tapping out.
Hello? You're still asleep? Get out of bed, lazy bones. What are you doing? Just hanging out. Come on, hang out with us. Where? When? Half hour. Meet us at the diner. Okay, well, I'll see you in about an hour. Okay, hurry up.
Mom? Yeah?
Where's my sheet music?
It's right there in front of you.
Oh, I see it. Thanks.
This kid's an asshole. He can't find anything. Oh, multiple motor... Oh, this is gonna be terrible. Remember, if you're riding on a motorcycle on the road, stop riding on a motorcycle.
We could go drive around or something. Let's go up the hills. Go up the hills, watch the sun go down, small libation, get a little tipsy, a little buzz going.
Oh, uh-oh. There's a lot of things wrong. She's riding a motorcycle. She's not using her sense of taste.
Hey, what's
they're
up?
all drunk.
Hey, baby.
Hey, what's up? How's it going?
Good. Hey,
she is 10 years old.
Gonna go hang out. You wanna come?
I don't know. Do I?
Come on, we'll go chill, kick back. It'll be fun.
At least they do have the swag Asian.
Okay. Harry needs a friend, so, you know.
Come on, Elle.
Well, okay, actually, I was supposed to go meet up with my friend Ashley.
Without the swag Asian, this would be like really, really, really dangerous. But luckily her swagger will...
Lewis!
Oh, you asshole! Lewis, you piece of shit!
Here, give this to him.
Fucking Lewis. Every single fucking time. Loses sheet music, he makes a mom run over the fucking motorcycle.
Come on. Come on, lady. Somebody gets in back and you gotta move over. Come on.
Yeah, lady. You're in last place now.
So you think you could save some lives on your own this afternoon?
Come on, man, it's Saturday. As soon as the sun goes down, all the crazies come out.
Oh, that's a bad idea.
I got a date with an Indian princess.
All right, enjoy yourself.
Never trust a doctor. Those guys will fuck you over. Okay, we have like 10 different storylines going. We got the mom and the annoying kid who's probably too short to be sitting up there. Needs some booster seat. We got the doctor who
She just had to pick up a few things at the market, but she came out with 2 carts full.
Rides a motorcycle, and
In a sec, we're
then we got the other guy who rides a motorcycle. Then we got the swag Asian.
Come on, turn.
Are they all gonna hit each other at the same time?
Come on.
That would be something like that. What is that one movie? What is that one movie where it's like 10 different storylines? Uh-oh.
Where'd he come from?
This is the sad part. Don't look at this if you get sad. Oh, he just got a scratch on his leg. That's it. Okay, he's okay.
The point of this video is to make you more aware of motorcyclists and to
Thank
keep
you,
from
Luigi.
having a crash with one. We're not trying to single out any one type of person or group. Any one of the characters in the movie could be you at some point in your life. All kinds of good people can make wrong choices on the road. None of us think that we are bad drivers or that we will ever hurt someone, but Statistics show that almost every driver.
How come they didn't show the other kids? Wait, did the drunk kids get in an
We're not just
accident?
talking to you drivers.
I wasn't paying. Well, I was paying attention, but
when I'm driving my car, I tend to notice
it all happened so fast
because I ride. And the majority of accidents involving motorcyclists.
That's why I always play on 50cc. It's harder for me to understand when it's at 150.
Narrow, and that makes them harder to see. And sometimes we blend into the background.
See, even they said it blends into the background.
Even
it's not my fault.
Buildings. Smart motorcyclists do what they can to be more conspicuous and minimize risk. Even so, if you've never ridden, you'll tend not to notice motorcyclists. So it's important for you to pay particularly close attention at intersections. Driveways and freeway ramps too. None of us ever wants to hit anybody. Car, motorcycle, kid on a bicycle or skateboard, or that kid who's just following a ball out into the street. And you can avoid it. SEE. It's search, evaluate, execute. Now, search is the process of scanning aggressively for potential hazards in your path.
Aggressively,
front, sides,
that
and behind.
sounds aggressive.
Evaluate is to judge how single or multiple hazards might affect you and plan ways of preventing conflicts. Execute is to act correctly and decisively to avoid the hazard and maintain a safety cushion around you. Motorcyclists use it. You can too. Using C, simple steps, can save a life, even your own. Now remember, a motorcyclist could be anyone, a friend, a relative, or even a doctor who rides his or her motorcycle to work and then saves a life. Please don't let me see you in the ER. Let's be careful out there.
Okay, so most teenagers don't act like the ones in the video, but still, I want to tell you something.
I don't know. I think a lot of teenagers act worse than that.
The fact is, we're unique. Researchers do studies on us all the time because they want to know why so many teen drivers crash every year. You're probably thinking that this is a waste of time. You're a good driver, right? But if car crashes kill more of us than anything else, and we're usually at fault in those crashes, we can't be all that good. Just do the math. The weird thing is, those same studies say we know driving is risky, but we take risks anyway. And I'm not just talking about speeding. It's things like being distracted, too many sudden lane changes, not signaling, and not looking over our shoulder that are most likely to take out a motorcyclist. Statistically, we're usually at fault, and we're overconfident. Our inexperience makes us the most dangerous in our first year of driving. We haven't mastered anything but the basics by then, but of course we think we have. Our brain's capacity to multitask, control our impulses, and assess risk isn't fully developed until we're in our 20s. But now that you know that, what are you going to do about it? Are you ready to pay more attention? Are you willing to increase your safety margins?
I didn't know that any of the characters. Oh wait, this is for the baby characters. Okay.
Attitude.
I'm not a baby. I don't need to watch this.
Did you see that? We both looked, but still didn't see each other until it was almost too late. Sometimes our need to fit in makes us do things when our friends are around that we wouldn't normally do. And then we show off. And do you think any of this gets easier when you're drinking? Wrong. You're more likely to kill someone, your friend in the passenger seat, someone crossing the street, or yourself when you're buzzed. We all know someone who rides a motorcycle or scooter. And we all know it's easy to make a mistake in a car that can injure you or someone else. So really keep an eye out for riders and avoid the crash.
Then again, I haven't played the game yet.
Keep what you've seen here in mind when you're driving. At the very least, please double check for motorcyclists, especially when you're around intersections or changing lanes. Have fun, be safe, and I'll see you guys out there.
Okay, guys, on that note, I will see all of you guys out there on the online mode. I think we learned a lot today from the instruction manual. I did learn I did learn everything I need to know by now. Now it's getting into the baby characters, and I don't really need that information because my main is Dry Bones. So, and sometimes Toad. And sometimes Evil Toad. If you haven't unlocked that character, it's probably the best one. So, Anyway.